Okay, in today's class we are going to discuss about NP chart and also control charts in case of variable size. Okay, so there are three approaches in case of variable sample size. So that we are going to discuss in today's class. Okay, in previous class we discussed about P chart. Okay, that means fraction sample fraction non-conforming. Okay, so that we considered. So there's a difference between fraction non-conforming and number non-conforming. Non-conforming means it is about defectives, okay, or which is about so poor quality products, okay. So here, in case of fraction non-conforming, we are considering, so out of the sample total number of trials or out of the overall lot, okay, or population, how many are defective? Okay, so if 100 samples are taken or 100 units of a sample are taken, then out of 100 how many are defectives? Then we are getting that value in terms of percentage or decimal. Okay, so if out of 100 10 are defective, then it will be 0.1. So that is the value of P. So but in case of NP, so we are considering only how many defectives. If there are out of 100, if there are 10 defectives, we are considering this 10. Okay, so that is the difference between fraction and number. Okay, so here we are considering only number of defectives. In the previous case, we are considering number of defectives by so total number of units under consideration. Okay, so number non-conforming, that is NP control chart. It is also possible to base a control chart on the number non-conforming rather than the fraction non-conforming. So for that, these are the equations. Center line is given by NP, where N is the sample size. So P is number, it is the non-conforming, fraction non-conforming. So if you know the equation for fraction non-conforming, P will be equal to D by N, where D is the number of non-conforming units. Okay. Similarly, if you are considering number of non-conforming units, that is nothing but D. D will be equal to NP based on that equation. Okay. So we have the equation. So this equation, if you consider this equation, P is equal to D by N. Suppose if you want number of non-conforming units, that is D, you can consider it as D is equal to Pn or NP. So in this chart, so we are considering NP, that means number non-conforming. Okay, so central line is given by NP, upper control limit, so NP plus 3 root of NP into 1 minus P. So this is nothing but this is standard deviation sigma. Okay, so we are considering plus or minus 3 sigma. Okay, so that's why it is 3 root of NP into 1 minus P. This is sigma. Square root of NP into 1 minus P is sigma, that is standard deviation. So lower control limit NP minus 3 root of NP into so 1 minus P. Suppose if the standard value for P is unavailable, so P is, it is the fraction non-conforming for the population, or it is the process fraction non-conforming. If it is not given, okay, if it is not a standard value, then you can use P bar. So where first we will calculate sample fraction non-conforming, then we will take average of sample fraction non-conforming, that is P bar. So for the previous problem also we did the same thing. So P is not known. So based on the individual sample fraction non-conforming values, we calculated P bar. Okay, so in that case, so we can replace this P by P bar. Okay, instead of NP, we can consider NP bar plus 3 root NP bar 1 minus P bar. Like that, we can replace it. So then P bar can be used to estimate P. Instead of P, we can use P bar. So we consider problem. Set up an NP control chart for the orange juice concentrate can process. N is equal to 50. In the previous class, so for P chart, we considered an example of orange juice concentrate can. Okay, so it will be made by a cardboard sheet. Then we considered, so if there is leakage, so then the can will be a defective. That leakage may be because of the side seam or because of the seal at the bottom. Okay, so that we discussed in previous class. So there is data available. So there are 30 samples taken after 30 minutes of production. Okay, after 30 minutes, after 60, after 90. So samples are taken. Okay, after 30 seconds, 50 samples are taken. Out of 50, number of non-conforming can means out of 50, 12 are non-conforming, 12 are defective. That means they result in leakage. Okay, based on these values, you can find out sample fraction non-conforming. That is nothing but 12 by 50. So di by n, that will give you pi value. So 12 by 50, 0.24, next 15 by 50, 0.30, like that. So it is same as previous problem. So you have to find out sample non-conforming. Then if you add all these values and divide it by 30, that is n, you will get P bar. Okay, so that is the it is the average of sample fraction non-conforming. Next, if you have P bar, you can find out if you know n value, if you know P bar value, so then you can find out central line, upper control limit and lower control limit. Then you can go for plotting the chart. Okay, using again these equations. So since here also we don't know P value, P is not a standard. So instead, based on the given data, we can calculate sample fraction non-conforming for every sample. Okay, so there's a P cap is sample fraction non-conforming, whereas just P, it is process fraction non-conforming. That is for entire process, whereas this is for a particular sample. So P bar is average of this sample fraction non-conforming. Next, so again we make use of this equation. So n is 50, P bar calculated here, so 0.2313. Substitute in the equation. Okay, you will get upper control limit as 20.510, lower control limit as 2.620. So here it is about number of defectives. NP means so it is about number of non-conforming or number of defectives. Now, so when you are saying number of defectives, so it is like, so you have to say whether 10, 20, 30. Okay, so that is the number of non-defectives. So you cannot say 21.5 defectives. It is not possible. Okay, a unit may be defective or it may be acceptable unit or acceptable product. So that means it cannot be in fraction. Always it will be a whole number or integer. Okay. So integer values are used for control limits on the NP chart instead of their decimal fraction counterpart. So here we have decimal fraction 20.510. But so when you are considering number of defectives, it should be a integer. That means it should be 20 or 21. Okay. So next, this also 2 or it should be 2 or 3. Therefore, we could choose 2 as lower control limit and 21 as the upper control limit respectively. And process could be considered out of control if a sample value of NP plotted at or beyond the control limits. So it means suppose on the control chart, if a point lie on 2, that also considered as out of control point. Again, if the point lies on 21, that point also considered as out of control because actual values are 20.510. If it is 20, it is an acceptable one. If it is 21, so it is out of the control limit based on this fraction value. Okay, so that's why we choose 2 and 21, and we consider points plotted on line, on upper control limit line and lower control limit line also as defective. Okay, here in the equation you can see instead of P, we have considered P bar. The reason is, so we don't know process fraction non-conforming value or standard fraction non-conforming value, we don't know. So we have calculated using sample fraction non-conforming. For that reason, so we are using P bar. So this is the control chart plotted. So on the x-axis, so plot this number of samples totally. So there are 30 samples, so you have to consider 30 divisions. Next, so after that, so you have to consider number non-conforming. Okay, so again you have to look into the value. So minimum value is 2, maximum is 21 based on the lower control limit and upper control limit. Other than that, so you can also consider these values. Okay, minimum and maximum value. Based on that, you can decide what should be the unit y-axis. Okay, next, so then you will plot these values. So for example, for 1, so number of defective is 12. So D is nothing but it is NP. So on the y-axis, you are plotting NP values, not P values. So number non-conforming, you are plotting NP value. NP is nothing but D. D is equal to NP. So that's why here, so for sample number 1, NP value is 12. For 2, it is 15. For 3, it is 8. So for 1, 12. For 2, 15. For 3, 8. Like that, you are plotting the NP values, nothing but D value. So number non-conforming, number of defectives. Okay, after plotting this, so this is the lower control limit, line of lower control limit, and this is the line of upper control limit. So now we can see, so 2 points are above the upper control limit. Okay, so this we can say, so this process is out of control because so you have 2 points out of control limits. Okay, so then it requires further evaluation. In practical application, quality engineers will evaluate and they will try to find the reason, and after finding the reason, so they will try to eliminate that assignable cause. It may be because of machine, material, or because of the worker. Samples 15 and 23 plot above the upper control limit, so the process is not in control. That means it is out of control. So there are problems where you may be having variable sample size. That means the samples which you are going to collect, so after a particular time period, so it will not be constant. For all previous control charts which we have plotted, okay, so the sample size lowercase n, small letter n, so that was constant. Okay, but there are cases where the sample size may vary from one subgroup to another subgroup, or from one sample to another sample. For one, you may be taking 5 trials. For another, you may be taking 3 trials for different reasons. Okay, in that case, so these approaches are useful. There are 3 approaches to constructing and operating a control chart with a variable sample size. That means variable small letter n value. So 3 approaches. One is variable width control limits. So that means here control limits, they are different for each subgroup or each sample. Okay, that is variable width control limit. That means here lower control limit and upper control limit is not same for all the samples. Okay, they are different for every sample. Next, control limit is based on an average sample size. So even though the sample size is different for different samples, here you are considering average sample. You will add all individual sample numbers and you take this n bar. So that is average sample size. Then there is standardized control chart. Okay, for that, so here you are considering 3 sigma units. Okay, so as 1, 2, 3. So that also we will discuss. Okay, first consider variable width control limits. So determine control limits for each individual sample. So that means for every sample, upper control limit and lower control limit is a different value. Each individual sample that are based on the specific sample size. So here you should consider sample size also. So this is the general equation to find out upper control limit and lower control limit. Okay, for upper control limit, p bar plus 3 root p bar of 1 minus p bar by ni. For lower control limit, p bar minus. For upper control limit, you will consider p bar plus. Again, this is also a p chart with variable sample size. Since we are plotting the values of p, it is a p chart with variable sample size. Okay, next, so we can understand these approaches with the help of a problem. Data in table came from the purchasing group of a large aerospace company. This group issues purchase orders to the company suppliers. The sample sizes are the total number of purchase orders issued each week. Obviously, this is not constant. A non-conforming unit is a purchase order with an error. Among the most common errors are specifying the incorrect part numbers, wrong delivery dates, and wrong supplier information. Any of these mistakes can result in a purchase order change, which takes time and resources and may result in delayed delivery of material. So here in this problem, there is a aerospace company. This company is procuring some of the components from its suppliers. It is not manufacturing all components in-house. Instead of that, it is procuring some components from suppliers. Okay. So in order to procure components from suppliers, company has to put orders. Okay. While preparing purchase orders, there are errors. Okay. It may be because of miscommunication between departments in the between various departments in the organization, or it may be because of negligence of the person who is in charge of placing orders to suppliers. Okay, so because of those reasons, sometimes the purchase orders prepared and issued, okay, so they are having some error. This error may be how many parts company need. Okay, so there may be error in that, or it may be wrong delivery date, so and wrong supplier information. Okay, now we are considering these purchase orders. Okay, out of 100 orders, how many are having errors? Okay, out of 80 orders, how many are having errors? Again, this is related to inventory management, demand and supply. Okay, demand for any product is not constant, it will vary. Okay, based on the demand, so they are procuring parts. Okay, in few weeks there will be high demand, in few weeks there will be low demand. That means there is fluctuation in demand. Okay, based on that they have to place the order. Because of that reason, sample size also will vary, because here you are considering so total number of orders issued per week. You are not doing sampling, so you are considering all orders issued per week. Okay, so in first week 100 orders were issued, in second week 80 orders were issued, in third week again 80 orders, in fourth 100 orders, like this. So orders were issued. So we are considering, initially we are considering 25 weeks for evaluation. Okay, next, for this data, construct control chart using the following approaches: variable with control limits, then control limits based on an average sample size, then the standardized control chart. Okay, so here you have data regarding 25 weeks. Okay, duration. First week 100 orders were issued. Out of 100, 12 orders have some errors. Next, in second week 80 orders, 8 are having errors. Okay, next third week 80 orders were issued, then 6 are having errors. Then fourth week 100 orders were issued, and out of 100, 9 are having errors. Okay, like that there is a data. Okay, so based on this data, so we have to construct control chart using variable width control limits approach. Okay, so in variable width control limits approach, so control limits for each sample is different. We have to find out separately. Okay. So for that, so sample number, sample size, number of non-conforming units. These three columns are given. Okay, these three are known. Okay, whereas you have to find out sample fraction non-conforming. So 12 by 100, that will give you this value. So this is P cap I is the sample fraction non-conforming, Di by Ni. So 12 by 100, that will give you this value. Next 8 by 80, you will get this value. 6 by 80, 9 by 100. Like this, you can find out Pi values, nothing but sample fraction non-conforming. After finding this value, okay, you can go for finding P bar. Okay, P bar means so we have to add all these values, these 25 values you should add. Then, so if n is constant, so we used to use nm, but here n is not constant, so you have to add these individual values of n. Okay, when you add these individual values of n, you will get 2450. Okay, so this is that value. You have to consider adding all 25 values. If it is constant, so 25 into n, that is m into n, will give you this value. But here it is not constant, that's why individually you have to add all these values. Okay, then substitute, you will get P bar as 0.096. So after getting P bar, so this is the equation for control limits. For upper control limit, P bar plus 3 root of P bar into 1 minus P bar by Ni. That is nothing but standard deviation. Okay, it is different for each sample number. So that's why. So if you want to find this value, so you can find it here, standard deviation. You are considering only this standard deviation, root of P bar into 1 minus P bar by Ni. Okay, so this P bar and 1 minus P bar value remain constant for all 25 samples. That's why you can make it as this equation. 0.096 is nothing but it is P bar. 0.904, it is 1 minus P bar. 1 minus 0.096, that will give you 0.904. Okay, so next, based on this, you can find out the standard deviation values for all 25 samples. Next, you can find out upper control limit and lower control limit. Okay, lower control limit again 0.096 plus 3 into this 0.029. Okay, so minus. So if it is lower control limit, 0.096 minus 3 root. So if you substitute this value, so you will get 0.029. So that will give you this value for upper control limit. So 0.096 plus 3 into 0.029. Since it is the value of root of 0.096 into 0.904 by Ni. So that value is given by this column. This you have to find out first, okay, before finding control limit. Now you can see lower control limit and upper control limit is different for different samples. It is not constant. Next, so how to construct control chart? Okay, first on x-axis you should consider sample number. Okay, so totally there are 25 samples. Okay, then on y-axis you should consider P. It is also a P chart. You should consider sample fraction non-conforming values of P. Okay, so for first, so here you can fix center line. That is nothing but P bar. This is center line 0.096. Okay, for 0.096, so you can mark it and you can draw a horizontal line. So that is the center line. Next, so for upper control limit and lower control limit, you cannot draw a continuous horizontal line because it is not constant. It is different for each sample. Okay, first your wish. So you can plot these points or you can draw these limits. Okay, whatever is comfortable for you, you can do that. Suppose, so first you can go for plotting these limits. Okay. So for first one, for sample number 1, okay, limits are 0.009 and 0.183. So this is sample number 1. So I should draw this limit at 0.009. 009. Okay, so this is the limit. Next, upper control limit 0.183. Okay, if you use graph sheet, it is better. Next, for a 2, lower control limit is 0. Okay, 0. So we are not specifying on the chart. So this is the 0. Next, upper control limit. So 0.195. Next, for second also same values. 0. Okay, like that. So for every sample, so you have to represent control limits like this. Okay. Then after specifying these control limits for all 25 samples, then you can go for locating the points. Okay, for sample number 1, again this value is 0.120. Here 0.10, 0.12. So this is the for first sample. For second sample 0.100. So 0.10 here. So like that you can plot the points. Now we can see. So for sample number 11. Okay, for this one, for sample number 11. So we have 1 point out of control limits. Okay, for sample number 11, okay, this is sample number 11. For sample number 11, 0.182 is the sample fraction non-conforming. Okay, and control limits are 0.012 lower control limit, upper control limit is 0.180. Okay, so here you can see upper control limit is 0.180, whereas P cap value is 0.182. So this is an out of control point. So you have to consider individual control limits. Okay, these control limits are applicable only for sample number 11. For sample number 10, these control limits are applicable. For 7, these are applicable. And you are evaluating whether sample number 7 is out of control or not by considering these control limits. Okay, so that is the approach. So compared to previous control chart, okay, constructing control chart and even evaluating this is complicated. It will result in lot of confusion. Okay, usually nowadays these control charts are plotted using software. Okay, automatically these control charts can be generated using software, or manually also you can construct. So there are softwares available to construct these control charts. Okay, this is how we can plot control charts. So using this variable control limits approach. Okay, this is first approach. Next, so we will consider one more approach, control limits based on an average sample size. So here, instead of considering different n values, even though that is the given data or that is the actual data, so we are considering average of n. Okay, this assumes that future sample sizes will not differ greatly from those previously observed and results in an approximate set of control limits. If there is an unusually large variation in the size of a particular sample, or if a point plots near the approximate control limits, then the exact control limits for that point should be determined and the point examined relative to that. Okay, so you will understand why this should be done. Okay, so this is the equation. So n bar, that is nothing but, so you are having adding all individual n values, sample size values, and divide by 25, you will get n bar. Okay, next for upper control limit, so you have the equation p bar plus 3 root p bar into 1 minus p bar by, so instead of ni, here only difference is you are considering n bar. For lower control limit, p bar minus 3 root of same. Okay, so instead of plus, for lower control limit you will consider minus. So here first sample number given, sample size also will be given, number of non-conforming will be given in the problem. So based on that, so in few problems they will give this column also, otherwise you can find out this. Okay. Next, average sample size. So you have to add these individual sample size values, divide it by total number of samples, that is 25, you will get average sample size, that is 98. Then, so here you are getting approximate control limits because you are not considering actual sample size. You are considering average of sample size. For that reason, you are getting approximate control limits. For the previous case, so you are getting exact control limits because you are considering sample size of that particular sample. But here you are considering average values. Okay. So substitute the value. So you will get upper control limit and lower control limit for the entire data. Okay, so here you are not finding individual control limits. It is control limits are constant because we are considering average sample size. Okay, so you will find out upper control limit and lower control limit. Then p bar itself is the center line. Okay. So lower control limit is 0.007. Then upper control limit is 0.185 and p bar value is 0.096. So that is the center line. 0.096 is the center line. So first on x-axis, so you consider sample number. Totally 25 samples. So you are considering 25 sample numbers. Then on y-axis, so you are considering sample fraction non-conforming p values. So 0, you can take it here itself, it's 0, or you can leave some space and you can consider 0 above this. Okay, your wish. So you can start 0 from here or somewhere here. So you can do take in both ways. Okay. So after that, so since we have lower control limit and upper control limit, plot, so draw horizontal lines. Okay, next. So you have p values. For sample 1, 0.120, for 2 it is 0.10, for 3 0.075. So like that you can plot these points based on p values. Okay. So after that, so if you evaluate the control chart, okay, all points are within the control limits, but here there is a consideration. So you have to consider this point. Okay, if a point plots near the approximate control limits, then exact control limits for that point should be determined and the point examined relative to that value. Okay, so here if you look at the control chart, there is a point. This point is very near to upper control limit. So that means since these are approximate control limits, so you should evaluate in detail by considering actual control limits. So you have to find out the actual control limits for this sample. It is for sample number 11. Okay, so already we determined control limits by considering actual values. So this is sample number 11. Okay, these are the actual control limits. 0.012 and 0.180. Okay, 0.012 is the lower control limit, no problem. So upper control limit is 0.182. Okay, so here, so if you consider this for 11. Okay, so this is actual control limit is 0.180. Actual value of P is 0.182. Okay, so for sample number 11, plots close to the approximate upper control limit. So the 0.185 is the approximate upper control limit. Yet it appears to be in control. However, when compared to its exact upper control limit, that is 0.180, the point indicates an out of control condition. So that means, so initially it looks like it is in control, but since it appears nearer the upper control limit, if you evaluate further using exact control limit, so it is falling above. So that means it is an out of control point. The disadvantage of second approach. Okay, if point fall near the control limits, it requires further evaluation. Whereas first approach, so you are considering exact control limits, but the problem is, so it is difficult to interpret since you have to evaluate every sample considering its own upper control limit and lower control limit. Last approach, the standardized control chart approach. So the points are plotted in standard deviation units. Control charts as the center line at 0, upper and lower control limits of +3 and -3 respectively. The variable plotted on the chart is given by this Z value. So we are plotting these Z values. These are determined using this equation. P cap. So it is sample fraction non-conforming, whereas P is process fraction non-conforming. Okay, so based on this, so we can find out Z values. So again, sample number, sample size, number of non-conforming. These three columns will be given. We can find out P cap values. Then we can find out standard deviation values also. That is used as denominator. So here in this equation, okay, directly you can substitute these values. If you find these values for individual samples, so you can directly substitute. So now P cap. So if you don't know P value, okay, here also you can make use of P bar. If P value is not known, then you can use it as P bar. You can take it as P bar. So here, for this problem also P value is not given, that is process fraction non-conforming not given. So based on sample fraction non-conforming, we can find out its average. Okay, based on the, so we can consider this. Okay, for this case, so P bar value is 0.096. Okay, so for first case 0.120. Okay, minus 0.096 divided by 0.029, that will give you this value 0.83. Okay, so you have to find out these Z values. This is a variable. Okay, so on the control chart also we are plotting these Z values for this approach, for standardized control chart approach. Okay, so here control limits, we are not determining control limits using any equation. Here we are considering it in terms of plus or minus 3. Okay, 0 is the center line, -3 is the lower control limit, and +3 is the upper control limit. Then we will evaluate these points. Okay, here also for sample number 11, one point is outside the control limits. Okay, then the process seems like it is out of control. Okay, so like that we can